Mr. Jalan, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Now, performance was impacted because of weak demand trends. Help us paint the big picture because soda ash prices of late really have been very volatile.
Yes, Nikunj, good morning. You are right that if you compare our performance as compared to the same quarter last year, we are 56% down as compared to the same quarter last year. But as I have been indicating in my last few calls that last year, 22-23, was a peak period for the soda ash industry. However, now the situation has become normalized, prices has softened, and probably you will see the similar kind of a situation at least for the next few quarters. In terms of the demand, India demands are intact. Frankly, it is growing. However, globally, particularly Europe and US, since our demands are down, and therefore a lot of materials are getting imported into India. And because of that, there are a lot of imports happening in India, and that is also kind of impacting overall situation in the pricing as well as the supply or the sale of the figure. In spite of this, GHCL per se has been able to maintain the similar kind of a volume as compared to the same quarter last year. And I am sure that the way the demand we are seeing in India, we will be able to maintain the similar kind of a supply, the sale into our business.
But given that right now European prices are low, things in China are still on a mixed, are still mixed. Do you think that internationally the prices are unlikely to recover?
Yeah, Nikunj, two things. Very interestingly, you spoke about the China. In spite of in the China, a lot of new supply has come in. In spite of that, in China, the demand is almost around 5 to 7% higher than the last year. And the prices are very firm. And this is, I think, typically first time it has happened that Chinese prices are much higher than the global pricing. And a lot of materials, European and as well as the US manufacturers are exporting to China as well. So given that scenario, and that is primarily happening because of solar and your EV batteries. Because of that, the demand is there. However, the moment this Europe demand recovers, the soda ash prices will also recover.
But the point is, when will demand recover? I mean, obviously, if demand will recover, prices will recover. The point is, when will it recover?
See, Nikunj, my understanding is that next few quarters definitely is going to be pain. Maybe 24, 25, maybe later part of 24, 25, probably you will see the recovery part happening into the European market as well as in the US market. Because Southeast Asia is also recovering, and I would say your South America is also is recovering. So hopefully by next, after 2-3 quarters, the prices should start recovering.
Okay, give us just a sense as to, if you can, what would be some sort of an outlook when it comes to refining margins? Right, apologies for that. Just wanted to get in an outlook from you in terms of the soda ash prices and how you're looking at that impacting your margins, because they did fall from the recent peak of about 33% last December to about 19%, largely on the back of lower realization. So what's the outlook there?
You see, basically, in terms of the soda ash prices are likely to be softened further from here. However, because of the cost is also coming down, to my sense is the margin will remain in this level.
And by when, are you looking at some of those MOUs you recently signed, about 3,500 crores in Gujarat, roughly, for the Greenfield soda ash plant? How are you looking at funding your overall capex? Because as I understand, the cash surplus stands at about 625 crore rupees.
See, today the cash surplus with us, if you look at in terms of the net debt, yes, 625 crore, but cash on the balance is around 825. And like I said in the past also, globally and as well as in India, we are seeing a very robust demand in the soda ash because of the solar investment where the government has. Recently, you have seen in the interim budget, the government is very aggressively pursuing the solar on the rooftop solar. So therefore, we are seeing a very good demand into the soda ash, and therefore we have signed this agreement. Now we are planning for a 1 million ton on the new Greenfield project. Out of that 500,000 we have signed before, and now another 500,000. So in next 3 years' time, probably the 500,000 will come, and after that, another 2 years, another 500,000 will come. In terms of the financing, as you know that we are today is the cash surplus, and we have a borrowing capacity of around 3,000 to 4,000 crore rupees in the current situation. And this investment, which will require in the next 5 years, will be generating sufficient cash with the debt and the cash, and the remaining in the same debt to equity ratio of 1:1. We will be able to fund this capex requirement.
There was a strong impetus as well on rooftop solarization as well as e-vehicles and infra housing. All of that bodes well for you. But what is the current scenario when it comes to solar gas investment, lithium ion? How are you looking to capitalize on some of those announcements?
See, two things will happen. So far as the lithium carbonate is concerned, probably in India, it will, I've said in the China, around the growth in the EV itself was around 40%. So probably the supply of Europe as well as the global will get consumed there, and therefore India will have a lesser import coming in from these global market, and that will give you a better kind of a demand scenario in India, number one. Second, the solar investments are very aggressively being pursued. As you know, many big players have announced big plans for the solar investments or the green hydrogen, and this will require the soda ash. So we are seeing a very robust demand coming forward.
What happens to the input part, which is that international coal prices have also started coming down? It is something which you think, when will that start reflecting in?
Yes, Nikunj, as I said, though the prices of soda ash looks to be softer from here, but in spite of that, because of the input prices are going down, we will be able to maintain the margin at this level. And this will get reflected in our this next quarter, January-March quarter. You'll see that the prices are cost also coming down. In the last quarter, Nikunj, also what has happened is that we had a kind of a shutdown, and that shutdown our cost had gone up because of the shutdown, and our production was also lower by 20,000 tons. And because of that, also the margin was impacted in third quarter.
So if you have to, let's say, talk about FY25, the new capacity would have kicked in, I'm assuming, somewhere in FY25, because you are in middle of your capacity expansion. When will that new capacity kick in?
No, Nikunj, our new capacity will not coming in 24-25 because Greenfield project will take another 2.5 to 3 years from now, and therefore that new capacity will not coming in. But yes, our production next year will be higher by around 5 to 7%. And we believe that the margin next 24-25, the margin should be in the similar range bound, what is currently which you are seeing. Because we are not saying very aggressively in the first few quarters, the prices are going up from here.
Okay, great to have you then on the show, Mr. Jalan. Thanks so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today.
Thank you.